The two teams emerging onto the field now amidst a blaze of noise. One game, one moment, one chance. It's a Wembley showpiece final for Preston with one aim: promotion to the Championship. After coming so close in the regular season, there's no room for error now. Simon Grayson and his men will start favourites, but it won't be easy against Swindon. The Lily Whites have the big names and the experience of playing at the higher level, but it's a question of winning tonight at this famous stadium. The two teams out on the pitch, staring at the trophy that they are desperate to get their hands on at the end of the game, which could be 90 minutes, could be extra time, could even be penalties. All will be revealed in the next couple of hours. The two managers are at the top of their respective lines of players as the dignitaries come out to be introduced to the two sets of players here at Wembley, and a fantastic noise greets the start of this one. Team news and Preston are unchanged after the victory over Chesterfield in the second leg of the playoff semi-final, thanks in no small part to the wonder goals from Jermaine Beckford. He continues in the Preston team, having scored 5 goals in his last 5 games. Joe Garner has had plenty of the headlines for the vast majority of the campaign. He's got 27 goals so far this season and is the League One Player of the Year. Those two would love to get on the score sheet here on Preston's big day. Sam Johnston is in goal. The back four: Callum Woods, Paul Huntington, Bailey Wright and Tom Clark. In midfield, John Welsh, Neil Kilkenny and Daniel Johnson. Jermaine Beckford, Joe Garner and Paul Gallagher are up front for Preston. For Swindon, they make 2 changes. Sam Ricketts and Jermaine Holton both make way as Jonathan Abika and Harry Toffolo, who is on loan from Norwich, come in. They were handed a big boost pre-match when Nathan Thompson was past fit. The key defender keeps his place in the back 3. As we pause and listen to the national anthem. The team from Wiltshire who get the game off and underway, and they play it back to Wes Fodringham, who has it inside his penalty area now, and he looks to try and bring things forward for Swindon. And his bright blue goalkeeping kit and bright orange boots, he sent it upfield. Woods heads it away and sent it out of play for a throw-in, and Simon Grayson has arrived in time in his tracksuit to stand right on the edge of the technical area, which is where he spent the best part of his Preston career as a manager, and always a man for the big occasion with plenty of experience. He has been there and done it at this level, at this stage, at this stadium, and he's hoping to try and get Preston over the line here today. Swindon have the throw now, and it comes out wide for Byrne. Trying to take on Gallagher, who was a doubt after the game against Chesterfield when he was forced off with a foot injury, but he was quick to recover and is able to start here in this playoff final. And John Welsh wins the ball back, and he finds Gallagher, who immediately sets Beckford forward, and it's a first run there for the Preston striker, who has his heels clipped and he's brought down, and the referee gives a free kick to the Lily Whites on the edge of the penalty area, and it's a great early shooting opportunity as Preston try to hit Swindon on the counter-attack, and Nathan Thompson penalised.
Yeah, I'm surprised we've not seen a card for that, to be honest, Jonathan. I think it was very, very harsh. It was a red one with him running away from goal, but he's certainly to an extent last man heading out 18, 19, 20 yards out, and Jermaine Beckford's got behind him, so I thought that's as good a yellow card as you're going to get all afternoon. I suppose the referee might be giving them the benefit of the doubt of it being just early minute nerves and so, but a fantastic opportunity for North End to get in the ascendancy right away with a Paul Gallagher free kick in the first couple of minutes.
He's lined it up on the left hand side. Swindon have got everybody in the box to defend. Preston have all the height of the big defenders in there too, and it's Gallagher who plays it in towards the far post, and it's an early goal for Preston, and it's Jermaine Beckford who has scored it. Just the start that Simon Grayson wanted in the first 3 minutes here at Wembley. It's 6-6 now for Beckford, and he is firing North End to glory in this playoff campaign. Preston 1, Swindon 0, and what a start! Scenes of celebration right from the off here at Wembley.
That's exactly what we talked about, Jonathan. There's a couple of minutes into the game, first chance to put a little bit of pressure on that Swindon defence, which must have been really, really nervous beforehand just because of how things panned out in that second leg against Sheffield United. And don't forget, North End got that very early goal in the first couple of minutes against them in the game, last game at Deepdale, which finished 3-0. So it's the best possible start for North End. It couldn't have went any better, and I guess the North End fans right involved. It puts the Swindon fans in a downer, and they just can't get any better than that. 3 minutes in and we're 1-0 up.
His 16th goal for the club now for Jermaine Beckford, but 6-6 at just the right time, and it is exactly what Preston wanted in all the scenes of celebration from a Preston point of view, as Jermaine Beckford comes over and has a huge hug with Simon Grayson in the technical area. There is quite some concern for the Swindon captain Nathan Thompson, who was marking Beckford in that goal, and it was a coming together between the two of them, and Thompson landed pretty awkwardly, particularly on his shoulder quite heavily, and he is still down in the 6-yard box receiving treatment. And Thompson was a big injury doubt before kick-off, and he is currently down receiving treatment, and he's been placed on a stretcher as he is getting ready to be brought off. So could be a bit of an early problem for the Swindon manager. In fact, it's going to be the end of Thompson's afternoon after just 2 minutes and 10 seconds, and it is going to be an early change because I think it's Sam Ricketts who is coming on in place of the Swindon defender. So desperately bad luck there for the Swindon captain and defender, who was carried off on a stretcher, and Ricketts, the former Bolton teammate of Kevin Davis, of course, who was left out of the starting lineup by the manager Mark Cooper before kick-off, is now immediately thrust into action with barely 5 minutes on the clock, and his team 1-0 down. Gallagher back to Woods now as the game gets back underway. And Preston, after the bright start, look to try and push forward again, but Woods' ball is just a little too heavy that time, and Fodringham is able to gather it. But that's bad luck for the Swindon captain, who is absolutely distraught, head in his hands on the stretcher, being carried around the perimeter of the pitch.
Yeah, it's a shame that, Jonathan. I mean, no one likes to see a footballer get injured in that kind of way, and it looked quite innocuous in a strange kind of way. I still, as we speak right now, I've no idea if it's a shoulder or something else he's done, but yeah, it's sad to see, but what an absolute sucker punch that is for Swindon to lose their captain after 2 or 3 minutes and a goal. It's a lot of rethinking and planning for Mark Cooper to have to do very early on in this game.
I'm not sure if it was a leg injury. It looked as though his leg might have been in some sort of brace position, but nevertheless, he has been carried off down the field, down the tunnel, off the field, and it's the end of his work here at Wembley. But what a start that Preston have been given here, as Kilkenny is just penalised for a handball, and it is Swindon who get the free kick. But Jermaine Beckford's goal has put the Preston supporters in fantastic mood, and everybody in the Preston end here at Wembley are on their feet, dancing in their seats, bobbing up and down with arms in the air, and it is quite a sight here in the first 5 or 6 minutes at this magnificent stadium. Preston's first visit to the new Wembley, and hoping to make it a winning one as well. In fact, Preston's only ever Wembley win in history. was back in 1938 in the FA Cup final against Huddersfield. It was a narrow 1-0 win then, and Preston would take a 1-0 win today as Garner tries to release Gallagher, who's making a run down the left, and he's broke the offside trap. He's just inside the penalty area now, looking to try and pull it back, and he's still going as it comes back off Beckford, and then it's blocked by the defender, and Swindon will have the free kick as Byrne is pushed down by Woods. But once again, Preston getting in behind the Swindon defence relatively easily there.
Very easy, because there was a Neil Kilkenny option on the right hand side as well as the Paul Gallagher one on the left, and if anything, Paul Gallagher's maybe just delayed it too long. Jermaine Beckford made that front post run, and if Gallagher tried to find him early doors, he might have just got him in, but by the time he did try to release the ball, Jermaine was ready too close to the goalkeeper, and it kind of just got muddled between the two of them. But certainly positive signs to add to that early goal.
Preston have got an excellent record when scoring first in games, of course, and they've opened the scoring in 22 of the last 23 games now. Of course, the only one in which they failed to do so in that run was at Colchester on the final day, and they have been unbeaten in all 32 League One games when scoring first so far this season. Joe Garner's got a foul for a free kick on the halfway line that is given by the referee, who is Andy Madley from West Yorkshire, and no doubt he'll still be having nightmares about Joe Garner from a few years ago. And he has took charge of a final here before at Wembley, but it was the FA Vase final last season between North Shields and Glossop North. And a slightly bigger occasion for him today as Garner goes up for this one, and it's just flicked away by Ricketts. Byrne tries to keep it in, and he hammers it away upfield, and Swindon trying to break forward as John Welsh looks to hold them up. Kilkenny brings down his man and gives the free kick away, and Luongo gets the free kick, the Australian international teammate of Bailey Wright, bursting forward before being pulled back by another Aussie out there on the field in the form of Kilkenny.
Yeah, Callum Wood's just on his heels early on in that move there to let his man get in front of him and start the build up there, but Massimo Luongo's a very, very good player, Jonathan. He received fantastic, I think he was player of the tournament if memory serves correct in the Asia Cup, and considering the level of teams in the Asia Cup for a player in League One to win such an accolade tells you everything you need to know about how good a footballer he is. So he's certainly a dangerous man, and Neil Kilkenny and John Welsh are going to have to be very wary of him this afternoon.
Yeah, there was some talk of a transfer move for Luongo in the January window, and Swindon reportedly turned down bids from Championship clubs for him, and well, it could be difficult to keep hold of him this summer regardless of what happens today, as a strong challenge goes in on John Welsh from Luongo, I think it is, and the Aussie gives away the free kick this time, having won the free kick just a few moments ago. Well, Simon Grayson's preparations to games are meticulous, and they go down to every fine detail. He has had the dimensions of the pitch at Deepdale redone to match that of the pitch here at Wembley this week, to try and get his players used to those sorts of dimensions and the area and the width that they've got to deal with. And that has been one of the ploys that he has instigated in Deepdale in training this week, as Garner runs this one forward, following him, thinking about going for it, but Garner reaches it, and he's still going now, and Garner tries to find the top corner, and it just gets charged down, and Wes Fodringham gathers it this time, but that was another half chance for the Lily White.
It was, and Joe Garner, he almost tripped his man. He had two men on him. That's how dangerous to think that Joe Garner is, and he done everything right to be fair to him. He created that half yard of space. That's a good block to deny him.
Fodringham with the ball forward now for Swindon, and it's sent upfield and headed away as Neil Kilkenny tries to get it further forward. Johnson can't quite win it, but Preston will have the throw in instead. We are in the lower tier here of Wembley, and there's another tier of supporters up above us, and every now and then you just get the odd couple of balloons drifting down from there where the Preston supporters are, and just a moment ago we had another white balloon drop down around us. Here's Beckford now, the early goal scorer for Preston. Back towards Kilkenny, and now Garner. He finds Tom Clark, and now Bailey Wright, and he plays it square for Woods. It's been an excellent start from Preston in the first 11 minutes. Jermaine Beckford's early goal capping it off, as Preston look to make the most of this second chance that the playoffs have given them to try and earn promotion to the Championship. Clark goes long this time, looking for Beckford, who brings it down, and the defender just got in there at the nick of time to turn it behind for a corner kick. It was almost an inch perfect ball for Jermaine Beckford, and Ricketts had to get that top.
And that's the threat of Jermaine Beckford. He's already shown by getting on the end of a ball and getting the first goal of the match, and it's good control by Jermaine Beckford, and Sam Ricketts has done well to deny him, but it's going to be a constant threat with him and Joe Garner up top all afternoon for North End.
Can Preston's first half get even better with Gallagher's free kick played in, and it's allowed to bounce in the Swindon penalty area, and Welsh trying to chase after it, and he's got there, and Gallagher will play it back in. Beckford tries to get there, and it's a second goal, and it's Paul Huntington who has doubled the advantage for the Lily Whites. The big defender, who at the start of the season couldn't get a look in, has now scored a huge goal in the playoff final, and he goes straight to the manager, Simon Grayson, to celebrate. And Paul Huntington gets his 9th goal of the season, and Preston are 2-0 up against Swindon with just 13 minutes on the clock. And what a fantastic, unbelievable start we have seen at Wembley for the Lily Whites. From the corner it was played in. Swindon initially cleared it away, but Gallagher got it back again on the left hand side, and he curled it in perfectly for Huntington, who was arriving unmarked, and he was able to find the finish well past Fodringham to put Preston 2-0 up. Preston 2, Swindon 0, and I can't quite believe it.
Oh man, 14 minutes gone, there's still 76 to go. And honestly, Jonathan, he couldn't have, Simon Grayson, in his wildest dreams, couldn't have had a better start. He couldn't have imagined anything going more to plan. Swindon have lost their captain, which is a shame in that context, but to get 2 goals, for Swindon to have to reshuffle already, 14 minutes in, it's just the best possible start, and it's great for the North End fans to be in the ascendancy as well, because it's always key on occasions like this that if you get that early goal, try and give your fans that morale boost, and that's all you can hear now. It's just Preston fans you can't hear a thing coming from the Swindon guys, and it's just such a positive start. And I don't think we can play down the park. John Welsh played in that goal as well. I mean, that's exactly what John Welsh does week in, week out. He wins balls, he flies into tackles, he's such an important part of what North End do, and Paul Huntington, he does what he's been doing all season, and that's finding the back of the net. It's a fantastic start.
It's a great story for Paul Huntington, really, given the season that he's had, and it's been well documented, the amazing journey that he has been on from the wilderness, really, at the start of the season in August, September, into October. And he got his chance, waited for his opportunity, turned down moves away from the club, got his opportunity, scored on that opportunity, and he has played practically every game since, barring injury, it has to be said, and weighing in with massive and important goals as well. And well, I'm sure Paul Gallagher would want to be given a couple of nods as well. 2 assists for the 2 goals in the first 13 minutes of the game for the Preston number 12. Here's John Welsh, who wins this one and sends it long again, and Beckford's trying to chase, and there's a little bit of nerves from Jack Stevens there, the Swindon defender, who eventually keeps hold of it, and Yazir Kazim has it now for Swindon, who have been shell-shocked by this lightning Preston start in the first 15 minutes. A bicker now, closed down by Bailey Wright, gathered by Luongo, and now Ricketts, the early substitute after the unlucky injury to Thompson. Byrne now trying to run in field for the team in red. But Preston, with those 2 early goals, are full of confidence at the moment, as Swindon now try to play this one into the penalty area, and Bailey Wright hacks it away. It was a difficult one for him, as it's won by Ricketts, knocked out wide though, and Clark tries to get there first and does, ahead of Harry to follow, and puts it out for a throw in. But first real sign of Swindon turning up at Wembley, and that was a decent ball played in.
A really good ball by Massimo Luongo. It's right across that 6-yard box, that horrible area that defenders hate, and Bailey Wright, his Australian teammate, done really well just to get a left foot to that and wrap it around it and through the danger. So good defending and good build-up play.
Gallagher on the halfway line, trying to find Garner, who goes in strongly in the challenge. Doesn't quite come away with the ball, but it was a fair challenge according to the referee, and Gallagher wins this one, but just sees it go out of play, so it's going to be a throw-in for Swindon instead. Well, there's been quite some drama in Swindon games over the last couple of weeks, of course. The 5-all game against Sheffield United in the second leg of the playoff semi-final was quite something, as they look to try and get back into this one, and it's Luongo now, the Aussie, who has it. So he pulls it back looking for Byrne, and he's still going as the shot is charged down, and Benny Wright smashing it away upfield. And Beckford here trying to win it off Sam Ricketts, and he'll settle for the throw-in instead. But once again, Luongo at the heart of things for Swindon, as you would expect. He is a key man for them in that midfield area, and Simon Grayson and Alan Kelly Sr. Immediately out and getting instructions to the defender.
And again, you touch on Massimo Luongo being at the heart of everything Swindon does, and who was making the block? John Welsh again, at the heart of everything North End does. It's just a quick side note, Jonathan. We've got a quick break and play here. The round of applause that people might have heard at home in the 10th minute, that was initially started as a round of applause for Linda Moon, who's actually been able to make it to the game today, as Ben Rhodes touched on earlier, which is fantastic. But as a North End fans, they'll be of remembering people who can't be here today, so family members and friends that have been lost in recent times and can't be here for such a magnificent occasion, and it was great to see the Swindon fans involved in that as well. Yeah,
nice touch from the supporters here at Wembley, as Woods clears this one away upfield, and it's going to be with Swindon inside their own half. Well, the last time a side came from behind to win in a playoff final was Rotherham, when they won on penalties against Leyton Orient. When Leyton Orient were winning 2-0 at half-time, Rotherham came back to level it at 2-2 and then won on the spot kick. So it has been done before, but Preston will be hoping that it doesn't happen here. Swindon have got their first corner of the game, with Byrne trying to run after this one, and set up this opportunity now for the Wiltshire men as it's played in. Sam Johnston came a long way and just got enough on it and flicked it away. Turnbull tries to keep it in, and there's some pressure immediately from the Preston defence, and settles for the throw. And it's going to be Harry to follow, who will be ready to take it. He was out of the second leg against Sheffield United with a dead leg, but the teenager on loan from Norwich, fit to return for the final at Wembley. Swindon have it on the halfway line as they look to try and break forward with Kazim, but Tom Clark nods it away, and Neil Kilkenny with a clever ball flicks it up towards Beckford, who nods it down for Daniel Johnson, and Preston were just slipping forward nicely there as Johnson threads it out wide for Gallagher on the left. Tries to play a diagonal ball out for Garner, but was just stretching on that one, and apologises to his teammates and the manager, who I think wanted him to play it a little shorter infield instead.
He did, yeah, but just on that move, Jonathan, it's been very similar to 2 or 3 now North End have made. It's very slick, it's very quick when they're going forward. We gave Swindon a lot of plaudits, and rightly so, before the game for the way they attack and the way they play football, but the way North End have knocked the ball about going forward has been really impressive so far in this match.
Swindon on it again as they play it out wide for Ricketts now. And Sam Ricketts looks for Luongo, who is able to reach it now. And push wide, and Huntington tries to keep him on his wrong foot, and Huntington does well to not only stop him getting forward, but he stops the cross as well at the expense of a corner. Preston will fancy their chances at defending this set piece, as Luongo, who has been a standout man for Swindon in the first 20 minutes despite Preston's 2 goals. And Swindon have got this corner now, the second in quick succession, and there's plenty of pushing and shoving going on, and the referee wanting a word with Smith and Wright to try and cool things down before this corner kick is played in. 21 minutes gone. Preston leading by 2-0. 2 quick-fire goals in the first 15 minutes from Beckford and Huntington. Here's the corner now, played in towards Johnson, who manages to palm it away, and Daniel Johnson whacked it away, and Jermaine Beckford can give chase now, and he gets there ahead of the defender, and he just tried to hold it up and look for Neil Kilkenny, who was arriving at speed, but it just flicked up off Beckford's heels and falls to Swindon instead. This is Turnbull now, the defender for Swindon, trying to play it forward, and immediately it's snuffed out, and Preston have it again. But Neil Kilkenny just overhits the pass this time, can't find Garner, and it falls through to Fodringham. Well, that's Fodringham might have a little bit of deja vu, because it was a few years ago at Deepdale when Preston were 2-0 up in the first 10 minutes against Swindon, and Paolo Di Canio was the manager, and the Italian had had enough, blamed the goalie, brought Fodringham off, who promptly booted the water bottles all over the pitch and stormed down the tunnel as he was substituted. Here's Swindon now trying to come forward again, and it was the defender making the run, and it was quite some run from Jack Stevens, who was very nearly going all the way, and his shot took a deflection, looped up over the bar, and it's going to be another Swindon corner.
Lovely skill as well for a centre-half there. He's big and strong as nature, being a centre-half, but a couple of step-overs, and he certainly beat a couple of North End players with it. I think I'm right in saying, Jonathan, he's from Tottenham's academy, so they're obviously trained to be football players in these places these days, and it certainly showed there.
To follow with this corner from the right-hand side, headed away by Bailey Wright powerfully and straight out of play for a throw-in. That's good work from the Aussie defender, who has got his family over from Australia to watch today. Quite often his dad will tune in to listen to us commentating on the games, but he's made the trip pretty much across the world to be here for his son's big day, as Clark dispatches this cross and puts it away for a corner kick. Bailey Wright is the only remaining player from the days of the Championship. He was a very young teenager when he was named as a substitute on the day that Preston were relegated from the Championship, and looking to try and return there today. Swindon with their first corner from the left-hand side now, and it's Byrne who has gone across to take it, and he whips in this time, and Sam Johnson again punches it away. That's the third or fourth time that the keeper on loan from Manchester United has done that to good effect. Comes back out to Byrne on the left now, who plays it in and looks for the cross, but that's too close to Sam Johnston, and makes comfortable work of that. He's been here a couple of times before, has Sam Johnston, but the on loan Manchester United keeper has only been here as a spectator to watch his parents' side at Manchester United in the past, and he is a player for North End today. There's a little break in play because Paul Gallagher has got a bit of a knock, and he was a doubt before kick-off, and it could be that might be a reoccurrence of the same injury as he goes down, which will be a little bit of a concern as the physio has a look at him.
I think his afternoon's done, Jonathan, to be honest. I think Alan Brown was sent back immediately, then headed towards the dugout, not to just come back and see Simon Grayson, but to actually start making plans for coming on. It's his foot, by the look of things again, looking at the TV monitor in front of us, and if it's the same foot and the same issue, then I don't think he's going to be able to go much further, which is a big shame, because he's obviously set up 2 goals so far, and he's had a really good positive start to the game. But Alan Brown, as it showed when he came against Chesterfield, would be a more inadequate replacement. He's a more solid, more defensive-minded midfielder in terms of he likes a tackle and he likes to get involved, whereas Paul Gallagher's more of a creator. So Paul Gallagher just making his way to the sideline now with the physio Matt Jackson, and we'll see if he's able to continue or not.
Yeah, he's making his way off. He looks as though he wants to try and continue. He's telling 1 or 2 people it's going to be all right, I'll carry on. It looks from this angle anyway, so we'll see whether or not that is true, or if he is going to come off. He's come over to the touchline, and he's having a word with Simon Grayson, and the manager has just killed the substitution, and Paul Gallagher is going to come back onto the field. So that's good from his point of view. He won't want to miss out on any part of the action here. It's all going so well for Preston in this first half, as Johnson plays this one forward. Garner tries to get there. Beckford might run onto it. Might fall for Gallagher too, but the defender Byrne clears it upfield instead. Huntington tries to loop it forward. Joe Garner will run after it. The defender Turnbull got there and just headed it back to Fodringham, who clears it away quickly now, and it's to follow on the right-hand side. Bursting forward now for Swindon, who need some sort of inspiration to give them some sort of hope. You will have heard us say it many times before. And Preston have been 2-0 up. The next goal is key, and that is as important now as it has been in previous occasions. Here's Byrne, challenged by Woods, who just got enough of the ball there for me, but he went through the back of the defender and gives the free kick away. And I wonder if that, just the touch of the ball, will spare him a booking. And Byrne, rolling around on the floor, is slowly getting himself back up as Callum Woods is being pushed away by the referee, and is going to get a talking to from Andy Madley, and it's going to be a talking to, and by the looks of it, no yellow card. I might be wrong, the referee has got his back to us, but I think it's just going to be a strong talking to for Callum Woods, and a free kick for Swindon. And Mark Cooper and his men just getting themselves organised, and the benefit of a replay here, and I think he did get the ball, but he did go through the back of the defender in the process, so I don't think he can have too many complaints. Here's Kazim, dinking the ball in field now and finding Turnbull, the big defender for Swindon. He plays it out wide for Byrne, and Woods this time manages to knock it out for a throw-in. These two teams have met fairly recently towards the end of the regular league season, but it was a very different Swindon team that day as they were preparing for the playoffs. And Preston comfortably dealt with Swindon on that occasion. And so far it's turning out to be a good platform to do the same again at Wembley. Garner's hat-trick against Swindon earlier in the campaign at Deepdale will perhaps still live fresh in the memory of these Swindon players, as Fodringham plays this one up towards Ricketts, who's got plenty of experience, and he does well there with a cool pass back to the goalkeeper, who has less pressure this time and can bring it forward. Nearly half an hour on the clock here at Wembley. Preston unbelievably leading by 2-0, thanks to two quick-fire goals in the first 15 minutes from Jermaine Beckford and Paul Huntington. This is Smith holding it up now for Swindon, who have come into it in the last 10 minutes or so, seeing a lot more of the ball and trying to find a way back into it. This is Kazim now, trying to get away from Daniel Johnson. Johnson still snapping at his heels as he offloads it to Stevens. Swindon have everybody inside the Preston half at the moment, and Really White's playing quite a high line too, so it's very compact there as Swindon eventually lose it, and Neil Kilkenny couldn't keep hold of it for long. And the Reds have it back again on the halfway line. They think about releasing Byrne, he might just have been caught offside there. This is Abika, runs off Huntington and plays it wide. No real threat there though from the Swindon attacker. And Clark's block is out for a throw-in, but this is perhaps what we were expecting from Swindon, and it's just took them 15 minutes or so to find their form, but unfortunately for them they're 2-0 down already.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing now, Jonathan, is probably the pattern of play that we thought we were going to get from the get-go. It's Swindon having a lot of the ball and North End trying to hit them on the counter through Jermaine Beckford as he pulled up a free kick. But yeah, that's the kind. It's strange because whenever Swindon have the ball in a defensive line, they're playing with 5 right across the North End defence. So essentially you've got 4 defenders on 5 attackers, so the midfield having to drop in to pick those guys up. So it's a very football orientated way to play, but as you see in the first 15 minutes, if you can't adapt to playing that way very quickly, then it can put you in a couple of holes, and that's what's happened so far this evening.
Swindon's last season in the second tier was back in the 99-2000 season, when they finished bottom when they were relegated. They've spent 3 years at this level after promotion under Paolo Di Canio from League 2. As Garner can't quite stop that one going out of play over on the far side. But Simon Grayson will be pleased, no doubt, with the start that his team have made in this one, but he will not want them to take anything for granted, despite leading by this 2-goal cushion, and Turnbull is the one who is bringing it forward. And he's just getting up ahead of steam again as he lays the ball off. Now Swindon trying to break down this Preston defence. He's got plenty of organisation and key men, as Huntington does well. The bounce just seemed to hold it up there and favour Huntington, who still had to be brave to put his head there. And this is now Gallagher hitting it early, but Beckford had come short, and Gallagher hit it long. But defensively in this playoff campaign, Preston have played it perfectly, of course, against Chesterfield. They've done it well, and hoping to try and keep another clean sheet here today at Wembley. Preston have had a good run of clean sheets, and they've only conceded 40 League One goals. Only Bristol City conceded fewer in the division. 21 League One clean sheets as well. And the MK Dons managed more. But it looks as though the opportunity that Paul Gallagher was given to try and continue is not going to be enough. And Alan Brown might be coming on very shortly, as Gallagher just appears to be limping as he continues to run after it on this left-hand side. And Alan Brown steps forward now with his kit on, ready to try and help Preston through. And the ball goes out of play next. It's with Swindon and Turnbull on the halfway line, trying to get it upfield where Gladwin makes the run. He has been in good goal-scoring form towards the end of the campaign, but his cross is too close to Sam Johnston, and the Preston keeper gratefully grasps that one. And I think the Preston keeper's done well, particularly from crosses in this first half an hour.
He has. Sam Johnston's been excellent. He's had to punch a lot in terms of corner kicks, and it's not just as straightforward as because he's got extra height, because he can put his hands in there that he can punch the ball clear. He's having to come through bodies, and some are one-fisted punches, and he's getting enough power on them to get them out of the area, and that's the most important thing. It's very easy just to flap and for the ball just to bounce off your wrist and go 6 or 7 yards, so he has dealt with him very well so far.
Preston have got a free kick just on the edge of the penalty area on the right-hand side. Jermaine Beckford was pulled back, and the referee, who was trying to play the advantage, is just going to give Preston the free kick. Now Paul Gallagher, who is about to come off, might just stay on to take this free kick. He is an expert from dead ball delivery, of course, and he's already set up 2 goals. He's about to come off with injury. Is he going to sign off with a 3rd assist? It would be an incredible story if he was. He stood over this free kick now, as is Daniel Johnson, and Swindon again have got men back in the penalty area. Huntington's up there, Clark at right. They are all in the box along with Jermaine Beckford, and Joe Garner pushing and shoving too. And Gallagher stands over it now, and well, Joe Garner's just took a tumble in the penalty area, and he says that he was brought down, and the referee, who was right on the spot there and was in a good place to see what happened, is just having to try and call them over. And I think it's Turnbull and Garner who he is trying to cool down, and I think it's just 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, but the referee is just trying to cool things down, and Garner's giving as good as he gets in the discussion, as you would expect. But Gallagher just has to wait now over this free kick, and he will play it in right-footed. Can he sign off with another assist as he plays it in? And it's Clark who heads it back across goal, and it was only inches wide. All it needed was a touch, and it just went agonisingly past the post, and nobody could finish it off. But that might be the end for Paul Gallagher's evening here at Wembley, as his number comes up on the board, and he looks desperately disappointed to be coming off. But well, what an impact he has had in the 35 minutes that he has been on the field. He has created 2 goals, and they could be 2 massive goals for Preston North End, as Paul Gallagher, who has been one of the contenders for the Player of the Season accolade for the Lily Whites, makes his way off, head down in disappointment, as Alan Brown comes on, making the most of his resurgence in the Preston North End team. Disappointment for Gallagher, but he can be proud of the impact that he has made in this game already.
And that's the thing, Jonathan. Paul Gallagher's obviously very disappointed about how these afternoons turned out. I'm sure if it gets to 8 o'clock tonight and North End have won 2-0 and he's set up both goals, that'll more than make up for it for him. So yeah, he's disappointed because it's a fantastic arena and a fantastic occasion to be playing in, but he's done his bit. I mean, if he'd done it over 90 minutes, we'd all be quite happy. So the fact he got that done inside 15 is fantastic. And now it's up to Alan Brown to come in and to establish his tough tackling and to try and build up a link-up play with John Welsh and Neil Kilkenny, and between the three of them try and work that central midfield role, allowing Daniel Johnston to get more involved and the two guys up top to keep doing what they're doing.
Alan Brown played against Chesterfield, of course, in the semi-final for his first appearance since January. He's been very patient and has quite often been found commentating on the games towards the end of the campaign. But as Simon Grayson has said many times before to the players not involved, keep going, the opportunities will come, and so it has proved for Alan Brown as he gets his big opportunity here at Wembley, which will be great for all his friends and family, as Ricketts now for Swindon is under pressure from Daniel Johnson and sends it back down towards Fodringham, the goalkeeper. And Fodringham walking it forward again for Swindon. 8 minutes to go to half time. Flicked on from Smith, but that's easy for Sam Johnston in the Preston penalty area, and he's just taking his time over picking it up as well. And Preston continuing to manage this game well, and I think game management is something we've said quite a lot over the last couple of months, particularly towards the end of this season, and that's what Preston will be hoping to try and do now, and they've got a great position to try and do it from. Here's Alan Brown trying to run onto it with his first touch, and I think he just missed it as Neil Kilkenny sees it come down for Welsh, and now Clark on the right hand side. Clark plays it down the channel where Alan Brown is waiting, but the defender just got there first, and it was a good interception, I think, from Tofollo, but his clearance is won back by Preston, and Brown finds Clark, who tries to do a little bit of slinky footwork to get his way past three Swindon men. He fooled two of them, but couldn't get past the third, as Garner wins it back for Preston, and the Lily Whites are just stepping on the gas again now, as they look to try and put Swindon to bed before half-time. The cross from Garner was intercepted, and it was an important interception too, because had he missed it, Beckford was waiting just behind the defender. Here's Brown, who's had a good couple of touches since coming on, and he's back on the ball again now, trying to keep hold of it, and sees it bounce back towards Welsh. And now Garner on the right-hand side. Garner plays it in, and it hits Stevens, and John Welsh can't stop it reaching a bicker, and it's played long for Smith, but the flag goes up. Swindon won't be able to move forward, and it's going to be a free kick for Preston.
It's good defending that again by North End, because when you play quite a high line, as they have been doing for spells in this half, that you are leaving that danger. If you don't get that line right, then you've got a striker straight in and goal from 35 yards out, and you're in real trouble at that point. So for all four guys to be focused enough, to be mindful enough to just let Michael Smith just drift away. He can run in behind all he wants if he's offside. No one cares at that point. So that's really smart and clever defending by Preston. That
Belly Wright sends it forward. Joe Garner goes down looking for the free kick, and he quickly gets back up to his feet and wins the second ball, and now he's keeping hold of it again, and that's great work from Garner, who plays the cross in, just over hits it where Beckford was waiting on the near post. There was no one behind him, but that sums up Joe Garner, the League One Player of the Year, in one little passage of play, as he scraps for the ball, never gives up, and very nearly saw it pay off for his team. This is Sam Johnston now for Preston, just on the edge of the penalty area, playing it long and giving Garner the chase. Turnbull trying to put him off, but Garner gets there first, because as we know, he's very strong, and he's still going now as these two have another wrestling match inside the Swindon half, and the free kick goes against Garner on that occasion. But it's been a right old scrap between him and Turnbull all afternoon. I seem to remember the two of them scrapping pretty much through the majority of the game at Deepdale a few weeks ago.
The strange thing is, this is what Joe Gallagher and Jermaine Beckford want, because when you think back, Jonathan, the games when those two are at their quietest is where the defenders are just pretty much heading everything away and clearing everything away. But all you're seeing is little niggles and little tussles and stuff, and they seem to excel in that for whatever reason, and defenders hate it. And if defenders are too busy worrying about wrestling with those two, then they're not focused on the job in hand of defending. So that tends to be when they're at their best, and they're certainly causing the Swindon defence all kinds of problems this afternoon.
Free kick now for Swindon, with less than 5 minutes of normal time to go in this first half. And Preston would really love to see it through to the interval with a clean sheet intact. Swindon take the free kick short and then chip it over for Luongo, but Tom Clark clips it away, and Alan Brown finds John Welsh, and he hits it early looking for Beckford, and Sam Ricketts doesn't let it reach Jermaine Beckford. And Swindon through Byrne, put it out for what I think Huntington was hoping for a throw in from, but instead he has to help it out for a Swindon throw, and Byrne will step forward to take it himself. Couple of minutes to go to half time. There will probably be a couple of minutes added on at the end of this first half because of the injury to Nathan Thompson in the first 90 seconds or so. Here's Byrne now teasing Alan Brown, and the cross does come in, and it's headed wide, and it's a great chance for Swindon to get back into it, and it's Michael Smith on the far post who really should have done better, should have hit the target at least. All he had to do was get it inside the post, but instead he sent it wide, and that's a glorious chance for Swindon to get back into the game. And for Michael Smith, who's already got 17 goals this season, he's going to be desperately disappointed.
And I just wonder, Jonathan, when it gets to the full-time whistle, if this is a big moment that people reflect back on, because 2 minutes before half-time, if Swindon grabbed a lifeline here, and that was essentially their first shot at goal. And they've had a lot of possession and crosses and stuff, but in terms of shots, that's been all.
There's another chance now for Beckford, who is just on the edge of the penalty area, and he scores! Jermaine Beckford does it again, 3-0 to Preston before half-time, and surely it is already game over here at Wembley. Preston North End on the cusp of the championship now. Jermaine Beckford with a brace in this first half, his second, another sublime strike. There is nothing that Jermaine Beckford cannot do in a Preston shirt at the moment. And the fans around us in the Preston end here at Wembley think it is all over. But we haven't reached half-time. Anything could still happen, but Preston lead by 3-0, and it's Jermaine Beckford who has got the third, and it's another fantastic finish from Beckford, who did so well to keep his composure, to keep his balance, and to curl his shot past the goalkeeper and into the bottom corner of the net. And what a first half we are seeing here at Wembley, 3-0.
Are you seriously telling me this guy's not good enough for Bolton Wanderers? That is unbelievable. What the skill just to beat his man as easily as what he'd done. And the first thing he does is not take another touch or think about where I put it. He's just that good, he can just bend it in the bottom corner with his next touch. He doesn't have to worry about setting himself or making sure he's got X, Y and Z right. He just bends it brilliantly into the corner, and that's another outstanding finish. And Jermaine Beckford is a free agent now, and I think there'll be more than Preston trying to keep a hold of him if things keep going how they are this afternoon. But Jonathan, we just touched on how big a moment that was. Michael Smith's miss. Less than 60 seconds later, it's 3-0. That miss just gets even bigger. Absolutely,
very good point. But look at the Preston fans now, away to our right-hand side. The singing section are once again on their feet. They're bouncing. Quite a few of them have already took their shirts off. They really are celebrating now. The flags, the shirts, the scarves are all twirling around their heads. Everyone jumping up and down. The party started, it well and truly has, and for Swindon it looks as though they've got more injury problems, and it could well be that it's Luongo who is down, being looked at by the physio, and Jermaine Beckford is absolutely delighted in the just on the edge of the technical area. He's looking towards some of the supporters, presumably his friends and maybe family on the touchline. He is a local lad to this part of the world, of course. A lot of his friends and family live in this neck of the woods. He doesn't get much of an opportunity to come back and see them, and certainly play here at Wembley. And well, he's had the opportunity. He thought his football career might have been over in January, but he has come back. And well, in what style has he been able to come back? And we're just watching another replay of the goal, the second goal that he has scored. And he runs immediately into the arms of Simon Grayson, and that is something that he has done with pretty much every goal he's scored for Preston. There is a huge affiliation between Grayson and Beckford. They've been there and done it before at this level with Leeds, of course, and well, they're doing it in Preston colours now.
And just on that, Jonathan, we watched the replay there, you see Simon Grayson's face, and as Jermaine was running towards him, the phrase he shouted to him is, "You're the man." He's certainly the man this afternoon so far. He's been fantastic, but to be fair, he's been fantastic since January when he arrived. And it's all credit to Simon Grayson for getting this Jermaine Beckford, because this is Jermaine Beckford, who was at Everton, he was at Leeds, and you read things and you hear things about his difficult character and all that kind of stuff, and I can tell you from first-hand experience, it's all absolute nonsense. If he's enjoying himself in terms of where he's playing and who he's working for and his teammates, he's a fantastic guy to be around. He's very easygoing, just a genuine nice guy, and I'm so happy for him that he came back from the issues he had in December, January time, and North End are certainly reaping the rewards, and no more so than this afternoon.
Well, in the excitement of everything, I think I forgot to tell you that we're into injury time at the end of the first half. 4 minutes were held up by the fourth official, and we have had 3 of them. And we are going into the interval here, about to start, well, in the middle of, I think it's fair to say, in the middle of a Preston party. And well, for so long Preston have had heartache in the playoffs. Surely now that is going to end with a bang here at Wembley, and it is going to be quite a night for the Preston supporters, who have had lots of difficulties with planning their journeys, with trains off and strikes. All sorts of things going on, making things difficult, but many of them have come down on coaches this morning and are going to be bussed back up to Preston later, and I think those buses are certainly going to be rocking as the Preston supporters celebrate. Here's Johnson now for the Lily Whites, surely not the fourth before half-time. This is Alan Brown now, who takes it on and just tries to keep hold of it. Just ran into a little bit of trouble there, but Preston are quickly after it. Luongo, who is okay, is back up on his feet and just trying to run off the knock that he's got just before half-time. And it's just overhit from North End, trying to find Beckford. And it's going to be a throw-in for Swindon. It's literally a stadium of 2 halves here at Wembley, as you would expect for a final. But for the blue and whites, it is jubilation. For the red and whites, it is absolute despair, and they are sitting there motionless, a lot of them silent, dumbstruck at what they have seen, and no doubt desperately disappointed as we prepare for the half-time whistle. And it's 45 minutes of football that I don't think anybody was expecting to see here at Wembley today, as Woods with the throw for Preston plays it upfield. Garner tries to reach it, and so Kenny plays it upfield, and there goes the half-time whistle. Half the job done, maybe more than half the job done here at Wembley. Preston leading by 3-0 in an unbelievable opening 45 minutes. Jermaine Beckford has been the star of the show with his 2 goals. The first coming in the 3rd minute of the game from a Paul Gallagher free kick. That was quickly followed up 10 minutes later when Paul Huntington doubled the advantage again from a Gallagher ball in, and Jermaine Beckford sealing it with a 3rd just moments after Michael Smith missed a glorious chance for Swindon to halve the deficit. But Beckford is very much the man here at Wembley. Preston will be kicking towards the following of Lancashire fans who have been bouncing in jubilant fashion throughout that first half. And the Lily Whites get things underway now, leading by 3-0 and are 45 minutes away from the championship. And it's Jermaine Beckford who's got 2, who is on the ball. He lays it off out wide for Garner, and now Brown as Huntington hits it upfield. And Garner thought he was offside, so didn't make a run for it, but Beckford will. And Swindon, with the defender Stevens, sends it high up into the air. And Neil Kilkenny brings it down. He tries to play it square, and it's going to be a free kick for the pull there on the Swindon defender. It's going to be a Swindon ball. So no changes from either manager. So Johnston is in goal for Preston, Woods, Huntington, Wright and Clark the back 4. In midfield, Kilkenny, Welsh and Johnson, with Beckford, Garner and Alan Brown making up the rest of the Preston team. Gallagher, of course, going off injured in the first half. Swindon have got themselves a free kick midway inside the Preston half. Fodringham is in goal for them. Turnbull, Stevens and Ricketts the back 3. Toffolo on the left, Byrne on the right, Gladwin, Kazim and Luongo in the middle, Smith and Abika up front. And it is the Wiltshire men who have got the free kick, and Mark Cooper and his team will be desperately hoping that they can get the first goal in this second half to give them some hope as they get ready now in front of their travelling support. Here it comes from Kazim towards the far post, woefully overhit though, straight out of play it goes, and that's disappointing. And looking at the start of the second half, I know supporters are traditionally late to get into their seats here at Wembley, but looks as though quite a few of the Swindon supporters have not bothered for the second half. A lot of empty seats away to our left-hand side. Stephen Watson is alongside me. And Preston need to get through the first 5 or 10 minutes of this second half unscathed to really keep this momentum and build the cushion up even more.
I think so, Jonathan. I think we can get to the other mark, but here's Beck's causing a nuisance again.
He's still going as he puts the defender Turnbull under pressure and runs onto it, and he's looking for a Wembley hat-trick, of course, is Jermaine Beckford, but as he tried to pull it back, it was won back by Swindon, and Turnbull will play it forward. And this is with Johnson now, who rode the challenge well but couldn't win the ball. The referee says it was not worthy of a free kick either. John Welsh bounces off Luongo, and Byrne makes the run down the right-hand side. Woods slides in and wins it and puts it out for a throw-in.
Yeah, just prior to that, Jonathan, just when I seen that Swindon free kick in the second minute of the half in a very similar position to where Paul Gallagher had one, and you just thought, God, see, this ends up causing some problems here, then what are we going to have? But yeah, it came to nothing, and hopefully that's a sign of Swindon just don't have the fight or the puff left.
This is Kazim for Swindon, about 30 yards out, but they've been pushed well wide. Luongo this time needs to try and use some of the quality that he has as he leaves it to Byrne. Preston have got plenty of men back as Byrne gets this cross in, but again it's not the right ball, and it's going to be a goal kick for Preston, but it will be desperately disappointing for Swindon and Mark Cooper going into half-time behind by 3-0, and they were really blown off the park, weren't they, in the first 15 minutes?
They were. The first 15 minutes they never knew what hit them, to be honest, and then for 20 minutes they worked their way back into the game. They caused a couple of problems, not a great deal. Michael Smith's chance, the obvious note of what they'd done in that half, and then bang, it was 3-0. Jermaine Beckford strikes again out of nothing really. So that is, as we talked about before the game, Jonathan, we kind of thought it might be a case of that game plan. North End trying to counter, trying to hit on the break, and the third goal was exactly that. It was Swindon with a lot of possession, a lot of dominance at the time, and within 30 seconds of missing a good chance, North End were 3-0 up, and that's the way the second half could pan out. Swindon are going to have to go for broke, although being perfectly honest with you, the first 4 or 5 minutes they look lethargic, they look slow. A couple of balls into the box have been way overhit, and you just wonder if that first 15 minutes has just sucker punched them so much that they're not able to regroup and get back into this whatsoever.
Simon Grayson in the technical area will be inside, really excited, and here's Beckford put through from a mistake, and it could be a hat-trick for Jermaine Beckford, and that's a great save from Wes Fodringham. A strong hand deflects it just wide of the post, and that was Jermaine Beckford's easiest chance of the game, and the Swindon goalkeeper, who is captain in this second half, maybe, just maybe, keeps his side in with a fighting chance.
He'll be kicking himself if he's missed that, Jermaine Beckford, because that essentially was the match. Full stop, no questions asked. That was the match, and as you say, Jonathan, easiest chance of the three, he's missed it. It's a good save to be fair, but he should be finding the back of the net from there.
Kilkenny's corner played in now as Bailey Wright gets there and just heads it wide of the target, and it will be a goal kick. But well, in the first 5 minutes of the second half, Preston have had the first chance, and it's Jermaine Beckford who has already got two in this game, having been told this week that he was being released by Bolton, and really he is showing his worth and showing his quality with the two goals that he has already scored, and no doubt disappointed at that miss to complete the hat-trick a couple of moments ago. This is Smith now getting it down for Swindon, but Alan Brown dispatches it out of play for another Swindon throw-in. This is Preston's first trip to Wembley since 1994, which ended in playoff defeat against Wycombe, of course. But could be that the Lily Whites will be celebrating at the end of the game here today. 6 minutes successfully negotiated in this second half. This is Smith now for Swindon, way out wide on the left-hand side, trying to just bring it in field, and Kilkenny's ball is just misplayed from Beckford. Kilkenny and Beckford have both experienced heartache here before with Leeds under Simon Grayson against Doncaster in 2008. Looking to try and put that right again here. So many scores to settle, of course, memories to be made, headlines to be written, and Preston at the moment are doing the business in making them all favourable ones from their point of view. The most important one will be at the end of the game, with the winner going back to the Championship. Preston have spent 4 years at this level and are desperate to make it a return to the Championship. They've got a throw which they're in no real rush to take. Tom Clark taking his time over it as he makes his run forward, the Preston North End captain. At least he is on the field. No doubt if there is a trophy celebration a little later, it might be that Clark and Welsh lift it together. We'll wait and see exactly what happens. Still a long way to go as Garner is pushed to the ground, and then he gets whacked a couple of times there by Kazim, and Joe Garner doing well to walk away from it, and Yazir Kazim is only going to walk into trouble with the referee, and Andy Madley is going to have to sort him out, and I think a card might well have been shown, although Kazim isn't having a great deal of it, and he keeps walking away from the referee. He wants to show him the yellow card, and Fodringham, the captain, has to chase after him and send him back to the referee, and well, Wes Fodringham is screaming at the Swindon number 8 as he has shown the yellow card from the referee, and the Iraqi international is perhaps showing what all the Swindon players are feeling down inside at the moment, and that is a huge amount of frustration. Preston have got another free kick now, which is effectively a corner. Neil Kilkenny ready to take it. Here's the Aussie who plays it in. Goalkeeper comes to try and reach it, and it squirms away and falls to safety. And John Welsh just tries to hold Swindon up, and in the end it's going to be a throw-in because it comes off Luongo. But it wasn't particularly good body language there from Yazir Kazim, who is one of the more experienced key men of the Swindon midfield.
Well, you touched on the key word, Jonathan. It's frustration. I mean, he's just nipping at Garner's heels, and I mean, I don't know when people are going to learn that the worst thing you can do with Joe Garner is try and play hardball with him and try and nibble on him and try and get like little kicks at him and little slide digs. Just go and defend, because if you defend against him, then I'm not saying that's when he has trouble, but when you defend against him, he just has to go about his natural business. He doesn't have to get that anger, to have that extra motivation to go against you, to try and prove something against you. He just goes about his job. And I think, as we touched on it, if you reflect on his performances over the year, I would probably have a stab in the dark that 70 or 80% of his best ones come when people are nibbling away at him.
Swindon again trying to break forward, but Tom Clark and the presence of John Welsh was enough just to hold them up. Ricketts trying to get it wide for Byrne again, but it's going to be out for a throw-in. Preston will march forward. They finished the season on 89 points to the Lily Whites, which was their best return since a club record 95 under David Moyes back in the 1999-2000 promotion year, when they were champions that season. But they finished 4 points and 2 places better off than they finished last season. But still, it wasn't enough to go up automatically, but they were given this second chance in the playoffs after the defeat to Colchester on the final day. And despite the playoff agony in the past for North End, they have banished those Blues with a thumping first half performance here at Wembley against Swindon. And so far, Swindon are struggling to get themselves back into it. And Preston looking to try and keep things sensible, looking to try and keep things under control for the next 35 minutes. The Lily Whites have reached the playoff final on 3 previous occasions, but never here at the new Wembley. Once at the old one, twice at Cardiff. And of course, they've come so close to reaching the promised land of the Premier League down the years, and no doubt that will be the target if things can be sorted out the rest of this game. Here's Johnson now for Preston, trying to win it back, and it's Jermaine Beckford who's through again. Surely he will complete his hat-trick this time. It's a tight angle, but he scores, and Jermaine Beckford completes his hat-trick, and he completes Preston's win here at Wembley. And Simon Grayson and his team will be playing Championship football next season. There will be no doubt about that now. Jermaine Beckford in this playoff campaign has been nothing short of sensational, and his hat-trick here at Wembley has capped off a fine individual display from him. But for the Lily Whites fans, the party really can start. Preston 4, Swindon 0, half an hour still to play, but it's game over. Preston are going back to the Championship.
That's the one, Jonathan, that's what we waited on. We just wanted Jermaine Beck for 5 minutes ago to do that, and he got another chance, and this time cool, calm and collected, finds the bottom corner, finds a hat-trick, and he's just found a place in the Championship for North End. Fantastic.
He'll become a history maker as well, scoring a hat-trick here at Wembley in a playoff final. Not too many players will have that record on their CV. And Beckford, who is out of contract this summer, not wanted by Bolton, very much loved here by Preston North End fans. He is in full smiles now, and it is going to be a remarkable scene for the Lily Whites now, as he becomes only the 3rd player to score a hat-trick at Wembley in a playoff final, following in the footsteps of Clive Mendonca and Scott Sinclair. This is Garner now, trying to trick his way forward. He's just inside the penalty area, as Garner's still going now, trying to take the shortest route, which is the most difficult route, and Ricketts in the end concedes the corner kick, and that's brilliant from Joe Garner, who turns towards the Preston fans, of which he is one, of course, a boyhood fan. He grew up on the town end watching North End as a boy, and he is about to enjoy scenes that Preston have not seen in the playoff campaign before, and it will be a promotion party to remember here tonight. Everybody on their feet again at Wembley in a Preston shirt as the Lily Whites get ready with this corner, and Tom Clark trying to run it on now as he heads this one down. It's gathered by the goalkeeper, and it's cleared by Foderingham Long, but Clark certainly in the middle of things there, as Swindon immediately try and hit forward on the counter-attack, and out it goes for a throw-in.
Yeah, just a very, very quick break there from Swindon. I mean, it's essentially what they just tried to do is what North End tried to do, but Callum Woods, solid as a rock, he's very, very consistent player, Callum, when he plays, and he's just listening to this place now, Jonathan. It's fantastic. I don't think the day could have went any better as we currently stand an hour into this game. It's just been such a great day for North End, and if you're going to do it, then I think it's going to right North End probably do it this way, the way things have went in the playoffs. So what a way to do it. It wouldn't be North End to do it the easy way and to go via automatic by getting the job done on the final day when it's all in your own hands. Make it more difficult for yourself, put more pressure on everyone, and and this is what you get with it. This is the big moment, and I think there's going to be a few sore heads in Preston tomorrow,
I think that is fair to say. It's a bank holiday weekend, of course. Most people will have tomorrow off, and there is about 25,000 supporters inside Wembley who I think will have the biggest hangover they've had in quite a few years in the morning. But it has been certainly a day to remember for the Preston supporters and for Jermaine Beckford. The last player to score a hat-trick here at Wembley in a playoff final was Scott Sinclair in the Championship final when he netted 3 for Swansea against Reading in 2011. 2 of them were from the penalty spot, let's not forget. Clive Mendonca got 3, one of which was in extra time when Charlton defeated Sunderland back in 1998. Jermaine Beckford has got a hat-trick in normal time. And he probably should have had 4 as well, to be fair. Let's not be too kind to him, but it's going to be a terrific record. He will have all the headlines, I think, tomorrow, and I think Preston are going to be waking up in the morning looking forward to the fixtures coming out in June, which is not too far away, and to see their names back in the Championship fixture list as John Welsh tries to run forward here but just loses out as Luongo reaches it this time. And still Swindon under a bit of pressure as Kazim plays it back down towards Fodringham in the Swindon goal. It's gone all Preston's way so far. Fodringham sends this one upfield. Clark heads it away. Smith just trying to hold the Preston captain off. Kazim now clips it on, and Byrne will run onto it into the penalty area, and Woods gets across there, and the Swindon man appeals for handball, but the referee was well placed and waves away those appeals, and it's with Woods now who will just knock it long as Beckford chests this one down, manages to flick it away and just goes out of play that time, and Jermaine Beckford will give the throw in Swindon's way. But well, he's a local lad from these parts. He thought a little earlier on in the season like he may not be able to play football again, but he is ending the season like a man in form. And what a run that he has had in the playoffs for Preston, as Kazim has it again for Swindon, looking to try and keep things tidy for Swindon, but they are desperately down in the gutter now after this 4-star Preston display. And Swindon staring defeat in the face here. They have enjoyed some successful years, of course. Their last promotion in the Palais de Canio back in 2012. But they are set to spend a 4th season in League One next year. There's Bicker back out wide now for Swindon again to Follow, trying to find Luongo. Follow gets it back just on the edge of the penalty area. Kazim helps it on, and now it's Ricketts on the right hand side. Byrne takes a touch, and Swindon continue just to push forward, and well, they really do need a comeback of seismic proportions at the moment. Turn ball for Kazim. They've got another substitute ready to come on, have Swindon, and it looks as though Andy Williams is going to be brought on next, as Swindon still have it in the Preston penalty area near the corner flag on the far side of the pitch, as Swindon keep the ball, and still they have it on the edge of the penalty area. It's been good possession from them, and now they've lost out, and it's guess who, Jermaine Beckford running after it, but I think he was so keen to get upfield he forgot to control the ball and take it with him, as this is Smith who flicks it forward now. Tom Clark gets it away, it's crossed back in by Swindon, and it's caught by Sam Johnston, who makes the save and makes it look pretty comfortable as well. But a decent passage of play there from Swindon.
Yeah, very decent passage of play. They've seen a lot more of the ball in the last 5 or 10 minutes, Jonathan, which is, I suppose, understandable. I mean, for all that we're allowed to get carried away, it'll be very, very difficult for us North End players to have to have the same intensity and the same focus as they had for the first 50 odd 60 minutes of the game. So good save by Sam Johnson and a good header from Abika.
Beckford here. Beckford has it near the corner flag. In no real rush at the moment, with Preston 25 minutes away from a return to the Championship. And Beckford just playing with the Swindon defenders at the moment, showboating in the corner in front of the Preston supporters, and gets the throw in instead, and just gives a little acknowledgement to the Preston supporters as Swindon get ready with their third and final change, and they are going to bring on Andy Williams, who is a striker who has got 22 goals for them this season. He's been hit with a bit of a groin injury of late, which has curtailed his season. Harry Tofollow is coming off, and it's going to be Williams on in his place. And in the midst of the goal from Beckford, Swindon made a change after that as well, when Ben Gladwin came off, and Lewis Thompson, who is on loan from Norwich, came on after a shoulder problem that he had been suffering for the last couple of months. He set this game as a target for him to make his return, and it looks as though he has achieved that. Meanwhile, the Preston hat-trick hero Jermaine Beckford is down in the 18-yard box and just getting a little bit of treatment, and he looks as though his evening is over. The indication is towards the touchline that he is not going to be able to continue, so the hat-trick hero for Preston may well be coming off, and Kevin Davis, who is a veteran, of course, he has played at the highest level. He has been Mr. Reliable for the 2 years he's had at North End. His daughter was the mascot that led the Preston players out here today, and Jermaine Beckford is coming off a Preston hero, and he is going to be a cult hero for years to come, as Jermaine Beckford gets a standing ovation from the Lily White supporters as he makes his way off. And what not just a day that he has had, but what a playoff campaign that Jermaine Beckford has had for Preston.
What an end to the season he's had for Preston. It's been fantastic ever since he arrived, Jonathan. I think initially there was a couple of moans about, oh, I'm not sure he's going to fit in, or he's going to score the goals, and then bang, the first one came and it was game on from that point, and he scored goal after goal after goal, and he's the main man today. He's got a hat-trick today. It was fantastic against Chesterfield. That 45-yard strike was just unbelievable. And yet, when it's been the big games, Bristol City has scored against Bristol City. He's popped up with big goals in big games, and none more so today, and he's got a hat-trick on the biggest stage of them all.
Clark with a long throw in, trying to find Kevin Davis, but Swindon managed to get it away, although Clark's won it back and then was penalised for handball. Believe it or not, Kevin Davis is coming on here at the new Wembley 20 years after he won promotion at Wembley with Chesterfield in the playoffs with a 2-0 win against Bury. And well, he's in the twilight of his career. It could well be the final game of his career. I'm not sure what his plans are in the summer or for next season, but if it was to be the end, it's going to be a crowning end to a magnificent season for Kevin Davis, as Michael Smith blazes over for Swindon and sends it into the Swindon support behind the goal. And I think more than a few of them are heading for an early dart already, if they haven't done so already. But with 20 minutes to go, Preston leading by 4 goals to 0, and it's only a matter of time now before the confirmation really can be stamped on Preston's promotion, as Kevin Davis flicks this one on, and Garner tries to run after it, but it's won by Stevens and out for a throw-in instead. But it's amazing to think, really, it's 20 years on since Kevin Davis played at Wembley and won promotion with Chesterfield.
And that tells you everything you need to know really about Kevin Davies and how just professional he is. He's a top guy as well, such a nice, shy, quiet guy. You'd never think that he has had the career he's had representing his country at Wembley as well, of course. And for a guy who's at the top for so long, to be as humble as what he is, and he's like just relaxed. I mean, we heard from his wife earlier about he's the calm and collected one, and she's the one that gets all nervous before games. And it's just the mannerisms he has. A lovely guy, and whatever he does at the end of the season, whether he decides to stay or go or retire or whatever he decides to do, then everybody will be wishing him all the best. He's such a nice guy.
Swindon have it now, and it's inside their own half again. Stevens plays it long, headed away by Bailey Wright. This is Kevin Davis this time, just couldn't quite hold it up, and Alan Brown steps back in there to win it back. Sam Johnston clears it away upfield. Now Beckford's off. Joe Garner's going to be running through the middle again, and we all know what happens when he plays up front through the middle for North End. Tends to score, as he has done prolifically this season. 20 minutes to go. Preston leading by 4 goals to 0, and Swindon on the halfway line continuing to keep the ball with Kazim, who plays it out wide now for Lewis Thompson. As Swindon look for some consolation, but they've given a free kick away. It's Preston who are going to be given the decision. So looking forward to some of the games that we can look forward to next season. Of course, Hull have been relegated from the Premier League today. They will join Queen's Park Rangers and Burnley in the Championship next season. Bristol City and MK Dons already confirmed as promotion from League One. Plenty of other tasty games in the Championship as well, of course, and there is certainly going to be a lot to look forward to. And the fixtures are released in 24 days' time. Believe it or not, the new season gets back up and underway again in 76 days' time. It will be here before we know it, on the same day as the Premier League season. Kevin Davis has won a free kick after he was manhandled to the ground there, and he walks off in towards the penalty area, and Neil Kilkenny will get ready to take it. And the last manager to enjoy promotion with Preston is here today, watching the team that means so much to him. The Real Sociedad manager David Moyes in the stands, watching Preston win promotion here today. Free kick for North End. Neil Kilkenny over it now, crossing it in towards Kevin Davis, and it's just wide. And well, it was very nearly a fifth, and could have been any one of 3 really who got there. I think it was Bailey Wright who just took it off the head of Kevin Davis, and out it goes for a goal kick. But they're queuing up here to get on the score sheet.
They are. I mean, never thought we'd be saying that before this game started, Jonathan. But yeah, we're just wondering how many and who's going to grab them now. It's turned into one of the most incredible evenings now, and it's hard to put into words just how good this performance has been, because Swindon are a very, very good side, and for all people may say that throws or things didn't go their way, they've not been allowed to play the football that they normally play, because North End 1 to 11, 1 through 14, once the substitutions have been made, have been absolutely fantastic so far.
Bailey Wright with another strong challenge wins the ball back for Preston, and Neil Kilkenny will run after the long ball sent forward by Alan Brown, and Kazim is back there to gather it for Swindon. But I think the end of the season for Swindon is really the one that has really stopped their momentum. They secured the playoffs with 2 games remaining and used a total of 26 different players in the last 5 games that they have played. And I know that Mark Cooper rested 1 or 2, particularly against Preston towards the end of the campaign, trying to get his players geared up for a 3-game season. Sometimes it's better just to have momentum. And how often do you see a team with momentum in the playoffs pushing through and prevailing? And as Bailey Wright whacks this one away, and out it goes for a throw-in for Swindon again. But Swindon finished 20 points behind the leaders Bristol City, 12 points behind second place MK Dons, 10 points behind third place Preston. And well, they were leaders of the table at some point during the season, along with Chesterfield, Doncaster, Bristol City obviously, Fleetwood, Peterborough and MK Dons all hit the top at one point or other in the League One season. And in this playoff final, they have not been able to get past the might of Preston, with all the experience and all the know-how, particularly of Simon Grayson, who will become the 4th manager to win promotion on 4 separate occasions from the 3rd tier, and he will add Preston to his list of promotions with Huddersfield, Blackpool and Leeds in his managerial career. Has him now square for Thompson, who sends Swindon down the right hand side. Byrne trying to cut in field now. Still going are the men from Wiltshire, who know that the game is up for them surely as they run into the penalty area now, and they're looking to try and find a late goal. But the shot, I think, was from Thompson. It was a bit of a daisy cutter in the end, took a deflection, and that made it easy for Sam Johnston.
And I think the job that I like to think players like to set little mini challenges during games and stuff, and you get in this kind of scenario. And I think probably the one they're thinking of right now, Jonathan, is the clean sheet, because to go through a playoff campaign with a clean sheet record would be a good feat. I don't think, obviously not having any stats in front of me, but I don't imagine there'll be many teams that have went through the entire playoff campaign without losing a goal, considering how dramatic the playoffs are. So I think that'll be the mini challenge they may have set themselves.
Garner's header, Kevin Davis trying to poke his foot on it, and in the end just scooped it up in the air. But certainly a good chance as Garner tried to help out his old mate Kevin Davis, and a free kick eventually goes Swindon's way, and it's going to be for the Wiltshire men to play forward. Down the left hand side it goes, gathered now for Swindon on the left, trying to find a way in now for Williams, who just tried to knock it back, but it's going to be defended by Preston, who are still keeping everybody back there. Byrne crosses in towards the far post. Nathan Clark chases after it and gets it upfield. Garner won it in the air, and he and Turnbull in a wrestling match again, and Kevin Davis comes out there to win it, and out for a throw in. The attendance 48,236 inside Wembley today, and that's quite a bit short of the attendance record set for a League One playoff final here. That was back in 1999 when Manchester City played Gillingham, and over 76,000 packed inside this famous ground. As Clark guides this one forward, and Ricketts nods it back down towards Fodringham, and out wide it goes for Byrne, who will put the afterburners on and try and break forward, as John Welsh sticks it out into the stand and does what John Welsh does best. He got his first Preston goal against Swindon back in September 2012. He has played and been involved in some big games through his career for Liverpool. He was in Istanbul for the famous Champions League night, of which he was part of the squad that went over there. He's played big games for Hull, of course, as they looked to get into the Premier League, and now he's at the heart of things for Preston, as Tom Clark defends there just to deny Luongo a chance and put it out for another throw for Swindon. But credit to Swindon, they're still going, they are still pushing forward, they are not writing it off, and they are going to try and give their supporters something to cheer about before they go home tonight. As they have it on the left hand side, but they lose out, or Bicker loses out, and it's going to be Kevin Davis who manages to put it out for a throw in. Just over 10 minutes to go here at Wembley, the final 10 minutes of the season, and what a season it has been for Preston. We have seen highs, we've seen lows, we've seen drama, and we have seen excitement, and there has been plenty of excitement here at Wembley today as Swindon continue to push forward now. They're on the edge of the penalty area as they try to pull it back for Byrne. Comes for Kazim. They're just not quite able to pull the trigger at the moment as they try to play in Byrne now, who plays it square, but Bailey Wright clears it away, puts it out of play for a throw in, and as you mentioned, the defence desperate for another clean sheet.
Absolutely, Jonathan. I mean, at the end of the day, defenders get paid too as well as strikers, and you don't get promoted or you don't win cups without defenders doing their part, and for Jermaine Beckford will grab the headlines, and rightly so. The defence have been outstanding today. Whenever there's been a ball into the box, there's been just tenacity, the will to win, desire to get on the end of it rather than a Swindon striker, because Swindon do score a lot of goals and they're very good going forward, and North End is just refusing to buckle at the moment.
Still Swindon through a Bicker push forward, and the shot is dragged well wide, and Bailey Wright turns it out for a throw-in. And we are into the final 10 minutes. Preston leading by 4 goals to 0. Jermaine Beckford with a hat-trick, Paul Huntington the other. Luongo now for Swindon, just pushing Preston back again. But the Preston fans are getting behind their team again, and you can hear the chant. Excitement starting to build now as the Lilywhites start their party, and it's a long-range effort from Turnbull, which was just sending Sam Johnson the wrong way. He got there eventually, turned it behind for a corner, which Swindon take quickly, but too quickly, because Preston are going to make a change, and Scott Laird is going to come on. He has enjoyed promotions before, played here at Wembley for Stevenage as well in the FA Trophy final, and he is going to get a few minutes on the field as well as Daniel Johnson comes off, the Jamaican-born midfielder, who is another who has had a big part to play since arriving for Simon Grayson this season, comes off to another standing ovation here from the Preston support.
Well, Daniel Johnson's first game, Jonathan, was against Crawley, and after that North End went on that terrific unbeaten run. I don't think that's any coincidence, to be honest with you. He's chipped in with some really important goals, and to get a player of his calibre, I think someone like him will absolutely flourish in the Championship. Just we get that half yard more space and a little bit more time on the ball. Yes, you're against better players, but I think he'll be someone who'll absolutely thrive in that environment, and to get him for something like £50,000 is an absolute steal in my opinion.
Yeah, absolute snip, no doubt about it. Kevin Davis clears this one away, and it's with Kazim, who plays it in, and Sam Johnston this time manages to make another fine save. It looked as though Swindon were going to score then. I think it was a Bicker who was getting the final touch, but Sam Johnston, desperate for that clean sheet, manages to claw it out and put it behind for a corner kick for Swindon. And it was a Bicker's header that just got flicked on as the corner comes in, and Bailey Wright clears it, and out it goes for a throw. In fact, it hasn't quite got out of play. Swindon have kept it in, and it's played in now towards the box. Tom Clark heads it away, and Swindon continue to try and harry. 7 minutes to go. They're down the left with Nathan Byrne. So cutting in field on his right foot, and the shot is blocked by Clark, and Alan Brown will get it forward now. Garner trying to hold it up, just saw it squirm away from him, but Kevin Davis helps it out towards Kilkenny, and Laird is making his run forward down the left-hand side. The substitute has just come on. He's joining the attack now. Kevin Davis waits in the penalty area as Laird finds Garner, and it's Laird on the left who will have a job to beat two, and then he just rolls it through the legs of one of them, but catches Garner offside. But it's been a terrific season for North End. Plenty of highs, plenty of lows. Of course, everyone remembers the lows more than the highs, I think, at times. And you've mentioned Crawley already as perhaps the low point of the season. But there's been some great moments as well. I mean, Joe Garner hat-tricks. We've had a Beckford hat-trick today. We've had some stunning goals. There's been so much in this campaign to talk about.
There has, and to be honest, Jonathan, I don't think there's been that many lows. There was the huge low of Colchester. I think that's why maybe people might think it's been a kind of high-low season. There was January, obviously, which wasn't a good month for the club, but from January onwards, and even up until then, in general, the form has been pretty good. I mean, the home form has been exceptional. We don't seem to get a lot of credit for that. I'm not quite sure why, but to lose one home game all season and to have lost one, and I think it's now something like 18 months. I think Brentford 2013 December was the last home defeat except for Bradford this season, so that tells you everything you need to know about this group of players and their will to win. They just refuse to get beat, and to have that ability with guys up front who score goals like Jermaine Beckford and Joe Garner, it's a great recipe, and it's paying off massively today.
5 minutes to go here at Wembley. Many of the Swindon fans now making their way to the exits, and the Preston players ready for their big party. And it is going to be quite a party too. We will have the trophy presentation, of course, here at Wembley as the North End players make the trips up the famous steps to lift the trophy. and to cap an end to a fine season. And well, Andy Fensham said it in the last game, didn't he? To win it via the playoffs is the best way to go up. And I think with Preston on the verge of that now, I think it's hard to disagree. It really has been a great couple of weeks, a long couple of weeks, as Stevie said. It's been difficult for everyone involved, particularly with the waiting and the watching and the build-up and the talk. But Preston have held their nerve. They've used their experience well. They've used the know-how of the likes of Simon Grayson, Kevin Davis, many of the other players who have been there and done it before, the likes of Kilkenny, Gallagher, Welsh, Clark, many of them with plenty of experience, many of them who have delivered today on the biggest stage when Preston needed them most. Luongo now for Swindon, who runs into trouble with Alan Brown and then just gets helped over by the Aussie, and no free kick according to the referee, as Luongo takes on Clark this time. The cross is blocked by Welsh, who took it flush in the face but dealt with it well enough, and Sam Johnston gathers it now in the penalty area. But these are scenes that have not been seen for Preston for a number of years, and a promotion back to the Championship is what Preston wanted from the very moment they were relegated from the Championship 4 years ago. And it has been a long wait. It has been a big turnaround, a big change, but Preston are going to be celebrating a promotion and a return to the Championship in just a couple of minutes' time, as Swindon continue to push bravely forward. Kevin Davis trying to hold it up, but it's going to be knocked out of play. And Swindon give the throw in Preston's way. It's going to be Preston's first promotion since the David Moyes days in the 99-2000 season. He is here to watch this, and the Preston supporters are here to celebrate. And as Swindon win the ball again from the throw, Hazim is after it, Alan Brown clips it forward, Garner chases after it, and it's headed down by Stevens. And this is Ricketts now, who was the early substitute in the first couple of minutes after the injury to Nathan Thompson. And thoughts are with him after his Wembley day was cut short after just a few seconds. Byrne now on the right for Swindon, pulling it back, looking for Luongo, who's a long way out. But Preston not taking any chances now. Swindon have got a man down again off the field, so they're down to 10 men. Turnbull has it for Swindon as they play it wide right again. Preston remaining resolute, defending, remaining firm, keeping strong, and Swindon trying to find a way through. In the end, can only find Sam Johnston in the Preston goal. But we are about to enter the 90th minute at the end of things here at Wembley. A lot of the Swindon fans have already headed for the exit doors and are making their way home to Wiltshire. The Preston anticipation and the celebration from the supporters is building up now, and we are about to see the biggest Preston party that we have seen for a number of years, and it's been hugely deserved. I think on the day Preston have been streets ahead of Swindon, really, haven't they? And those two early goals really killed things off for Preston and really put Swindon on the back foot.
They did. I mean, it reminds me a bit of the boxing last night in the James DeGale fight. He caught him with an absolute crack on the second round, and whereas Darrell came back, Swindon have just not been able to react to those two goals at all. It was a right sucker punch to them, and since then North End have grown in confidence. They're built on that. Swindon never really got into the game at any point, Jonathan, I think, if we're being honest. For all that possession they had, with the exception of the last 10 minutes, Sam Johnston's really not had a save to make. I thought they would come out the second half all guns blazing, try and find a way back into it, and the Jermaine Beckford goal just killed that off completely. So North End have done everything right this afternoon. They deserve all the credit, and I'm sure they're going to get it.
We are into the added time at the end of this playoff final. 3 minutes are added on, and Preston leading by 4-0. About to seal a place in the Championship, and well, next season there's going to be so much to look forward to, isn't there? It's going to be great to be back in the second tier of English football.
I think it's great for Lancashire in general, to be honest, because you also have Burnley in there and you've got Blackburn in there, and now North End are going there, so you've got a few big games, and Blackpool and Wigan can enjoy themselves in League One. There's still plenty in the Championship in terms of Lancashire football. You've got Bolton there as well, obviously, so yes, fantastic to be back amongst that. You've got the big games in Leeds and all these kind of places as well, which has subplots with Simon Grayson and things as well, so this is a massive day for the club, Jonathan, and I think everyone else will be looking forward to June the 17th now. Find out who we get on the opening day, and who knows what next season will bring.
Yeah, 76 days away till the start of the next season, and it's going to be here before you know it, and the end of this one is only moments away now. Swindon play a ball in, and Bailey Wright manages to clear it away, and upfield it goes. But it has been quite a day for Preston. Nobody really believed it in the first 45 minutes. The Lily Whites blew Swindon away, and Jermaine Beckford with his hat-trick waits on the touchline, ready to celebrate with Paul Gallagher, who looks in tears on the sidelines. He has been a huge part of North End for the last couple of years, without ever being a permanent fixture in the Preston dressing room. He has been a key on-loan man for the last couple of seasons, and he is going to celebrate, and it will mean an awful lot to him. A local lad celebrating Preston's promotion today. We're only seconds away from the confirmation of Preston getting back to the Championship, and with a fine performance here today at Wembley to seal it. And the Preston supporters, who are on their feet, waving their flags, scarves high above their heads, and they are going to let off a huge roar in a couple of seconds' time. Simon Grayson will make history. He will add Preston to the list of clubs that he has got promoted from League One. As there goes the full-time whistle, Preston North End have done it. It's a day nobody will forget here at Wembley. Jermaine Beckford's hat-trick and a Paul Huntington goal has sealed the Lily Whites win here in the League One playoff final, and we are back in the Championship. Simon Grayson has done it again, and now the party really will start. Scenes of joy and delight here at Wembley Stadium. We are going up is the banner that Paul Gallagher holds aloft towards the Preston supporters, and the Lily Whites fans can enjoy their day at Wembley. It has been a long time coming in the playoffs, but finally Preston can smile now. Full-time score here at Wembley: Preston 4, Swindon 0. And the Lily Whites will be playing Championship football come August. Stevie Watson, what a day.
Wow, we've been looking forward to this day for so long, Jonathan, and it's for these guys, to be fair, in the stand. I mean, they're the ones that put their money in, they're the ones that buy season tickets, they travel all over the country. Week in, week out, they follow this club and they give this club tons and tons of support, and it's great to be able to repay them back. And on days like this, it's for them. It's for the club as well, of course, but these are the guys they're the lifeblood of the club. Without them, you don't have football clubs, and it's so great to give them something back, and I'm sure they're going to enjoy their night, they're going to enjoy their summer, and they'll look forward to June the 17th and next season.
It has been a squad effort from Preston this season. So many players have played a key part in the success. Everyone joining The players in the box now, ready to pick up the trophy and really start the celebrations here at Wembley. Simon Grayson, the last man to come up. Jermaine Beckford is the real hero on the day with his hat-trick. He has been in terrific form, particularly in the last couple of months of the season and in this playoff campaign. We are nearly ready now for the trophy to be presented. Tom Clark at the front, along with John Welsh, and they are about to lift this trophy that the Preston fans have waited so long for. At the 10th time of asking, Preston are the playoff winners and are going up to the championship. Absolute joy here at Wembley for the players and fans alike. It was disappointment 3 weeks ago at Colchester when Preston missed out on automatic promotion, but it is now a sweet success after the thrilling victory in the final. Swindon couldn't live with North End. And after a 4-year absence, Preston are back in the second tier of English football. Joe Garner, the League One Player of the Year. His goals have been so vital and so important to Preston's success. And the owner, Trevor Hemmings, in the background there, joining in on these celebrations. He's a proud man, and what a year it has been for him, having already won the Grand National at Aintree back in April. He is now celebrating Preston North End's success here at Wembley in May. It's Simon Grayson who has got Preston promoted. The 4th time he has enjoyed promotion from League One with a 4th different side. He makes history, and what a job he has done in his time at Preston North End. And now he can look forward to a return to the Championship in August.